Hi,
was jamming.
everyone. Yeah, I know. I was sharing to my story and I looked up and I was like, oh, it's been a minute and a half. Let me hurry up and go live.
Yes, I was jamming. I was drinking my hot cocoa, having a party over here. Hello,
Love it. Hi.
hello.
Hello,
Hello,
guys. How are
hello.
you? All right. So right now it is 7:03 Eastern Standard Time on Tuesday. So if you guys are watching outside that time frame, just do #replay. But I can see all the comments. I see everyone coming in. So if you are here, say hi, let us know where you're watching from, and share the video because we appreciate that.
Yay, lots of shares. Say hello, say hello.
All right. Can you see all the
Yay.
comments?
I can see most of them. Let me
Okay.
see. Let me see.
I love it. Hi, Nikki. Joe from Australia, Michelle from Canada. Hi, Lisa. Perfect. Tonight's going to be fun. I'm excited that you guys are here.
Yeah, I'm organized tonight. Oh, there's lots of people. Kayla from Baltimore, hello. Tanya from California. Tammy from Maryland. Hello, everybody from everywhere. I love it.
Yep.
I love it.
All right. So I'm excited. So, how has everyone's week been so far? I know we're only 2 days in, but how are we feeling? Because tonight we're going to be talking. Well, Brie is going to be doing the majority of the talking. I'm here. I'm here to hang out and chime in where I can. But tonight we're going to be talking about spiritual burnout, how to prevent it, how to deal with it, how to overcome it. And I think a lot of us get this, even if you don't work in the spiritual business, you still get spiritual burnout.
I was going to say, I think all of us in this community right now are here because we have something in common.
Mhm.
We are, we have a belief system that we follow. We do the same thing. There
Mhm.
is burnout because we have this belief in a spiritual being, a wholeness, and we put so much effort into it. Every single day we meditate, we read books, um we go on retreats, we do web seminars, we do gatherings. We're constantly focusing on doing something to increase our spirituality because we think that this frequency, and not vibrational frequency, but frequency of events, more often, more frequent, every day, constantly doing these events is going to increase this power of our spirituality. Guess what? It doesn't.
Mhm.
It doesn't. It has its own mind, it has its own mentality, it has its own vibration, it has its own timeline. Your your timeline is already there no matter what you do. You just have to say, I accept it, and you have to be open to receiving it. And it's coming when it's coming, no matter what books you read, no
Yep.
matter what you think about when you meditate. So it's coming. And by doing all that extra stuff, you're just going to hurt yourself, and you're going to slow the process down because you're going to physically wear your body out.
Yeah. And it's one of those situations where I think, you try to control it and it does not work that way. You do not control. Right before the live, we were literally just talking about how when something's ready, Spirit's like, here you go. And you're like, what is this?
Yeah, I think I know one of the biggest messages we give as readers and healers
Mhm.
is the more you try to control what's happening, the less control you have over it.
Yes.
And so the more I'm sorry, my stepdaughter's having a fit right now. Um, the more you go through it, and the more you're like, I want this to happen, and I want this to happen now, you think you're going to speed up the process because you see somebody else going through it.
Mhm.
You're just hurting it. You're just stopping it
Yeah.
because they're like, hold on, wait a minute. This
Mhm.
isn't what we decided.
Yep.
This
Yep.
is not what we
Right.
decided at all.
Spirit's like, look, you've already got a timeline here, and we're going to need you to stop trying to rearrange the pieces because it doesn't work.
This doesn't go like that.
Oh, okay, Jessica. Okay, it is Wednesday, isn't it? I'm sorry. Yes, today is
what
Wednesday.
what
Tuesday.
day did you say?
I've been
Tuesday?
saying Tuesday like
I
multiple.
didn't even I didn't even catch you.
I'm even looking at my calendar and I'm going, yeah, yep, it's Tuesday.
Good. Good. I didn't even catch you.
Yeah.
I didn't even catch you. That's fantastic.
Thanks for calling me out, Jessica. I appreciate that. So yeah, so we're going to be diving into really, talking about this. And even if you do not work in the spiritual business, or you are not, you're like, I don't even know if I have gifts or anything like that, like stick around, because I promise you this is going to be a conversation that you need to be a part of. We are going to be having it open to, you can ask questions, and we'll be answering them. But I guess before we really dive into all the good, all the real good stuff, do you want to let people know kind of who you are, where they can find all your information, what you do, and all the good stuff, all that,
All the good stuff.
all the good
So,
stuff.
all the good stuff. So I am Brie. I am Lavender Moon Healing. I am one of the wonderful Reiki practitioners here. I just had my very first conversation with Nikki the other day, and I loves her. And we are going to tag team and Reiki the entire world together. She said yes. So all of my information is down here on this link. You can find all of my information on the link tree below, or you can click my Facebook page and give me a follow, or my Instagram. My phone numbers are listed anywhere above. I am located in Maryland, so I work out of Frederick, Maryland. I have a studio here if you're looking for in person. I also offer virtual, so I am convenient all over the world.
Mhm.
So I'm pretty much available all during the day. So my hours I'm very flexible. And I think that's about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, for now.
For
Until
now.
until some other crazy stuff comes out about me, and then you'll be like, "Oh, she's crazy."
I say it all the time, like, and it's so funny because every time I go live, not every time, but a lot of the times I go live with either a master healer or anyone else in the spiritual realm, like that term comes up. Like, I'm just a little crazy. Like, and I think that you have to be a little crazy,
Yeah,
right? Like,
yeah,
what you're doing in life, you have to be a little crazy, or else you're really just no fun.
yeah. I mean, I think you have to be crazy to accept all of the things that are happening.
Mm-hmm.
Because if not, then you try to pretend like it's not happening, you try to fight it, and then you
Yep.
medicate yourself, and then you actually become crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, look at that. Tammy said, so funny. I just told my brother that the entire world needs Reiki.
Absolutely, and I'm here for it. Nikki and I
Yep.
got it.
Yep.
Nikki and I got it.
Yep.
She's
So
got the left half, and I got the right.
perfect. I love that. So in the comments section, just out of curiosity, let us know if you're familiar with Reiki, if you've ever had it done, or if you have like no idea about any of it. But let me see.
Willie, hello. I'm going to give Willie a special shout out. He's my newfound friend.
Oh, I love that. Well,
Willie showed me a lot of love. Hello, Willie.
Willie has been commenting on my stuff too, and I don't get a chance to respond to everyone's comments, but I do see them, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like I love all the positivity.
I love it. Connie, it is definitely an experience to be had.
Mm-hmm.
It is unlike any other feeling when you have the energy manipulated in and around your body, to have feelings and emotions just be
Mm-hmm.
pulled out and brought to the surface. Um, my ear just started ringing. There's something is there.
Something pinged.
Something pinged. um, yeah, it's an experience. I love it. Find a practitioner if you're not in Maryland, or call me and let's make a session. Oh, there's my friend Catherine.
Yep. Had a Reiki.
Yay.
I've had Reiki with Brie. I love that. I
She
love
did.
Reiki. I absolutely love it, whether it's distance Reiki or in person.
Yeah.
Like either way, I mean, you just walk away feeling so much better. So if you guys have had it, but maybe haven't had it with Brie, or you've never had it and you're like, I just want to know what this is. again, like she said, her link is down here, but up in the description of the video, there's clickable links. Her Facebook page, her website, all of that stuff is there. You just click it, you can go find her information and reach out to her personally to either ask questions and or schedule. But I love it. I'm a firm believer that like everybody should experience Reiki at least, I'd say 3 times.
Yeah, first time is like the icebreaker.
Mhm.
Second time kind of gets it moving. And then that third time is the major healing, the
Mhm.
breakthrough. That's the wham bam. Thank you, ma'am.
Yep.
Yep.
That is so funny. I feel like you're in my head because that is literally, and that's such a weird statement, but that is literally the 4th time I've heard that today alone. And why is everyone saying wham bam? Thank you, ma'am. So I don't know what Spirit's trying to tell me about that one, but I guess I'm gonna have to sit with it.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Well, it meant you were aligned to do everything that you did today.
I suppose.
Absolutely.
Yep. So
Absolutely.
okay, so let's jump into this. So
Okay.
we kind of touched base a little bit on it, but I'll let you kind of take the reins here and I'll just follow your lead.
Okay.
Okay.
I mean, so obviously it's something that spiritual burnout is something, it's just like any other kind of burnout. And I think it's something
Mhm.
that we spiritually neglect. We feel that if it's good for us spiritually, it's good for us because it's good for us. But just like everything, no matter if it's good for us or not, it's something that needs to be done in moderation. It's something
Mhm.
that we need to control. And even things that are healthy for us can be too much and cause problems if
Yeah.
we don't control it and don't moderate it and don't do it in the right portions that it's supposed to be handled in.
Mhm.
Um, so doing things, meditating 5 times a day, you're opening yourself up way too much. You're going to
Mhm.
invite in negative energies and negative spirits because your energy source, you're going to just be way too open, or you're not going to be able to focus and you're going to be too grounded. There is such thing as too grounded.
Mhm.
um, if you, oh God, now it's bedtime. They're going to start fighting. Um,
The joys of trying to work from home.
you know, doing something every single day, you're neglecting your
Mhm.
personal life. When you're
Yeah.
focusing everything on spirituality, you're neglecting the family, you're neglecting your personal life, you're neglecting your finances. So you lose that balance that you need to make sure that, the duality of life. And
Mhm.
you put all your eggs in one basket, and then you don't know how to balance everything else out.
Yeah.
Um,
That's one thing that I really had. It's been a learning curve trying to figure that out. Like, because I'm so much more comfortable existing in those higher spiritual realms because the
mhm.
physical world, let's be honest, it kind of sucks sometimes, right? And
It
so
does.
like, I'm like, ooh, I'm over here, like I'm all happy. And like Sarah, our master healer, like she's had to like call me out and be like, you're forgetting that you're human. Like, have you eaten? Like, are you dealing with your emotions or are you just up here existing? I'm like, yeah, okay, fine. And like I gotta intentionally bring myself back down to
Bring
create
it back down. Yeah,
that.
like you
Yep.
you have to be a person, you have to
Yep.
live. You have to I mean, there are days where days like today where I should have been more grounded and I should have been more
Mhm.
together, that I literally sat at the kitchen table with my deck in my hands all day
Yeah. Yep.
because it just happened that way. So
Hmm.
now I'm going to have to counteract it, and tomorrow I'm going to have to do real life things that I neglected today. The laundry that sat in the basket, I'm going to have to fold. I'm going to have to go to the grocery store tomorrow
Yep.
because we ate the scraps in the fridge tonight for dinner,
Yeah. Yeah.
and you know putting the house together and such because I didn't get it done today. That's
Hmm.
the balance of it out. And so you
Yeah.
have to remember to keep those things balanced out.
Hmm.
And it's the moderation, because what happens is you overdose. You make yourself sick because you've taken too much of it in. And you can actually, I mean, you make yourself sick because you give yourself headaches. Because remember, these spiritual energies actually manifest in physical symptoms.
Mhm.
Just like they do positively, they will negatively. So you're going to have headaches, you're going to have stomach issues, you're going to be extremely tired because the energies are going to drain you. You're either going to sleep too much or not enough. You're going to eat too much or not enough
Mhm.
because you're going to be neglecting those senses. And, you know, your attitudes are going to change. You're going to go ups and downs. And it's just like going to be, it's just like any other illness, like stress. It's going to be very similar to stress or anxiety because you're going to trigger those hormones in your body because your body's going to go into that fight or flight mode because it's like, oh, this isn't natural. This isn't right. This isn't what it's supposed to be doing. So your body's just going to freak out.
Mhm.
And now
Yep.
you're stuck. You know, now you're in this position where you're trying to do the right thing because you're trying to make yourself feel better and you're making yourself sick.
Mhm. Yeah. It's like, I see it so much with my clients or just people that I
Mm-hmm.
talk to, people who reach out, through my business. It's like, especially once that first taste of an awakening happens, you
Yes.
get on this ball of like, okay, self-healing, self-development, spiritual development, growth. Like I got to do this, and I got to heal this trauma, and I got to do my inner child work, and I got to do this, and I got to learn this. And that's all great in moderation, one thing at a time. And so, I have to remind people like the best thing, like, yes, that development is important. Yes, your healing is important. But the best thing that you can do to honor your spiritual self is to honor your human existence, like to feel the emotions, to be present in your day to day and allow that balance between your human self and your
Yep.
spiritual self to just be what it is,
Just
just
rest.
just let it
Like
be.
it is okay to not do
Mhm.
anything.
Yeah.
Like your spirituality won't go away because you took a day off from practicing it
Yeah.
or from training it
Mhm.
from working it out because you didn't do intuition exercises or because you didn't read a chapter in the self-development book.
Yep.
It's not going to go away. It's still
Mhm.
going to be there. And
Yep.
I bet you it's going to be stronger after your day of rest than it is after your 8-hour seminar.
Yeah.
Like I promise you it will be.
Yep.
So, sometimes we do more damage and it's hard to watch because hold on, I'm sorry. My kids are FaceTiming me from the other room.
It's like I love when you're like, you're not doing anything all day, your kids want nothing to do with you, and then you get that one phone call and they're all like sitting on top of you, and it's like, you have not needed me all day.
Um, just kidding. I would never do that. Um, don't cancel me, Facebook, I promise. Um, but it's like we sometimes feel like we have to overwork ourselves.
Mhm.
And we have to compare our brain muscle and our intuition and our psychic abilities and our spirituality and all things spiritual and metaphysical to somebody like a bodybuilder. Yes, they go to the
Mhm.
gym 5, 6, 7 days a week, and they're yes 5, 6, 7, 8 hours a day. But you know what? Their bodies are going to crop out a lot sooner than yours, and you know why? Because they're pushing their bodies a lot soon, a lot harder, and they don't, maybe that wasn't the best analogy, but still, like
Yeah.
they're
Yep.
they're not going to make it as long.
Right. It's kind of
Does that
like I can going off of like sort of that example, it's kind of like, okay, I want to work out, I want to get in better shape, right? But if you're going all day every day, and let's say you're doing leg day every day, because you're like, my leg, I
there
want
you
to get
go.
like
That's
you
what I
can't
was talking about.
like you can't
There's
walk, so you can't function when you're not at the gym. So you're going to the gym and then you're coming home and you're just jello. You're no good for
yeah,
the rest of your life.
that's thanks. That's what I was
Yeah. Yep, I gotcha.
thanks. Unfortunately, my brain doesn't work like half the time.
Same, same. So that's good though. We'll balance each other out. So, I think that's important. And I think your soul knows when the next step is supposed to be, when that next healing is supposed to come about, when that next, development is supposed to come forward. Like your soul knows when these things are supposed to happen. And so if you're just allowing yourself to be present, you're going to feel that intuitive pull of like, you know what, I feel like I finally need to deal with that childhood trauma I've been pushing to the side. Or, you know what, I'm really being called to look into astrology or to understand my birth chart. Like you'll intuitively feel it. Like something will push you in that direction. You're like, okay, now it's time.
And the opportunities will present themselves for you to feel, like,
Yeah.
and that's, you will be put in a situation that will pull you to heal.
Yeah.
It will remind you to be like, this is the time. Or it will put you in the situation where you will feel like you've healed. It
Yeah.
will lead you down that path. It will make sure that you heal in divine timing.
Mm-hmm.
And we have to remember that the universe is never going to let you fail. And I have to always remind everybody that the universe is not going to set you up to fail. You will heal. You will develop. You will learn whatever that chapter is going to teach you when you are meant to do it.
Yes. Yep. Yeah. And so Willie says, not true. We all have human error at times. And that's super true. But I think that goes hand in hand with honoring your spirit or your human existence, making the space for when you do make an error, making the space for when you do, judge something in a way that maybe wasn't super beneficial. That's all part of that learning process. And you would be surprised how often those errors that we make as humans are actually benefiting our spiritual growth if we're present and we're learning from those errors.
Yep. We are
Mm-hmm.
meant to make mistakes as humans.
Absolutely. Yes.
Because if we did not make mistakes, we would all be perfect and then think about how boring and how mundane this world would be.
Yep. Yeah.
Like, what would we do?
It would just be like living a spiritual existence, but in human form, because spirit is perfect. Spirit doesn't make mistakes. So what would be the point of coming to earth?
What would we do? Like, there would be no fun because fun is bad. Like that, our childhoods wouldn't exist because our entire childhood was errors because we were meant to make mistakes to learn, and that's how we developed ourselves to grow.
Yeah.
My entire life was a staggering of errors, and guess what? I learned from every single one of them, and I'm grateful for every single one of them because without them, I would not be sitting here today.
Exactly. Yep. They're
Errors
hard.
They are a part of human nature.
Yes. Yep. And they are hard in the moment. But when you have that understanding of everything you experience in your human existence, it's all meant to benefit your soul's highest good. And so you have that acceptance, like Catherine said, acceptance is a bitch. Sometimes it is, but that acceptance is what allows you to have that balance and that better understanding of it's not about perfection. It's about showing up for myself, acknowledging my emotions, and just following what I intuitively feel to do. Maybe one day it's to lounge on the couch and eat nothing but potato chips all day. And the very next day you're going on a hike, you're doing meditation, you're reading all the self-help books. Like you need the balance.
Yeah. And that's what the trick is to find that balance.
Mm-hmm.
But learning how to prevent it is amazing because we never want to be burnt out. We never want to feel that exhaustion. So learning how to prevent it is great, but unfortunately in real life, we all experience it because as humans, we're impatient. As humans, we want it now. We want it now. We want to do it all the things and we want it. We just want it,
And then we forget that we have limitations. So then you add work and family and responsibilities and everything else on top of it. And you're just like, what did I do?
So then you have this whole other world of burnout because then you have spiritual and then you have real world burnout and then you have double. And so you're dealing with physical burnout plus spiritual and emotional. So when you realize that you've gotten to this point and you just can't take anything else, the biggest thing You just have to stop and breathe and accept the fact that you are doing too much.
Yep.
You have to take a step back and you have to look at the big picture and say, you know what? I'm doing like this is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
This is why am I doing this much? Like this is not necessary to do this much right now.
Yes. Yep.
And I think those are the key words right now.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so learning how to look at what you're doing and prioritize what can be pushed off to the side is one way to try and help heal from that. Because it's definitely difficult to heal from a burnout, to try and um, recover from something that can be, devastating. It wears you
Mm-hmm.
out.
Yeah.
It'll take you down. It'll send you into a dark depression, and you won't
Yep.
understand why.
Yep.
Especially spiritual burnout. It will take you down.
Down quick
Down.
too.
That will make you think you're
Yep.
crazy. Um, so prioritizing what needs to go, what can wait, what needs to be
Mhm.
done right now. And typically, none of it needs to be done right now.
Mm.
Rest is the only thing
Yep.
that needs to be done right now. And everything else can wait.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest lessons that I've learned, and I don't always listen to this lesson, like right now I'm in burnout. So I feel like this is about me, but I'm like, there's no coincidence that this is what we're talking about tonight because and I see this a lot, especially with parents or people who, tend to people please. Like we want to, I can take care of everything myself. What do you need? Let me help you. Like we put ourselves last. I'm like,
Mhm.
I can do this, I can do this, I can do this, I can do this. And then we have all the things that we actually have to do as well. And then you're sitting back and you're just like, "Ugh." Like you go in, I don't know about other people, but I know for me personally, when I've reached that burnout mode, my brain is going, but my body won't allow me to do what I need to do. So then I just sit there like paralyzed, like,
It's easier just to sit still and
yeah,
not do anything than it
yeah,
is to get up and start. Yep.
yeah, yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Uh,
I think learning that rest is sometimes the most productive thing that you can do was
mhm.
one of the most helpful lessons I've ever learned. Again, I don't
Mhm.
always listen to it, but I know it. It's in there. So like that just resting. And I don't mean like resting while your mind is still going, like really checking out for a little bit and just resting physically, emotionally, spiritually, mentally, like everything. Let it.
Shutting it down.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
Not for
Yeah.
like long periods of time. That could be dangerous, but
No,
like,
and sometimes you just need a couple of hours
yeah.
of
Yep.
silence, almost to the point
Mhm.
where you feel like you maybe fell asleep and you're not really
Mhm.
sure, but for some reason you feel good about it.
Yep. I hear from people a lot, especially people who are like new to meditation,
Mhm.
where they're getting frustrated with themselves because they're like, every time I try to meditate, I fall asleep. I'm like, allow it. Maybe that's what you need from that
Yeah.
meditation. Maybe you need to sleep. It's okay.
Yeah. I mean,
Trust me.
at least that means your mind is quiet,
Right. And your
you know?
subconscious is still going to do it, especially if you're listening to like a guided meditation and you fall asleep. Your subconscious
You
is still
you still
listening.
hear it. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, definitely. And I think so rest is the biggest part of that recovery.
Yeah.
Um, but also not to take on another task, but something like journaling.
Hmm.
Journaling why you feel the way that you do, why you think that you need to do all of these things, what you feel spiritually inside. Um, because sometimes just putting it out there, putting it into the universe, is like having a conversation with your best friend. Like if you just word vomit everything and then throw
Mhm.
away the word vomit, sometimes that helps. It's,
Yeah.
it's getting it out because a lot of times when we feel these things spiritually, there aren't that many people that will listen. We're here in this group, so we have 52,000 people that will listen. But
Mhm.
outside of this group, there's there's another 2,200 somewhere. But,
Mhm.
it's not like you have a small group of friends that will sit and
Right.
talk.
Yep.
Um, but it's the recovery part is the hardest, but it's the easiest steps to take.
Yes.
It's just resting, and
Mhm.
it's just resting your mind, and it's literally just stopping.
Mhm. Yep. Yeah, and
But
I
that's
think I think we live in a society where we've always been taught, like, you have to go, you have to go, you have to go, like, and we see it even, even if we take like spirituality out of it for a minute, like for so many of us, like we wake up early, we get started with our day. Our day comes to an end, our work day, and then we got to run the kids here and there. And then we come home and we got to figure out dinner, we got to do bedtime. And then by the end of the day, we're so tired. Like we tend to veg out or, get lost in a show. Like we're not actually quieting the mind. We're just shifting the distraction to
Yeah.
something.
Yeah. We're watching something else now to stop our brains from going
Mhm.
over the 45 things that we didn't do
Yeah.
that we've now have to push off till tomorrow in hopes
Yep.
that we'll do like 5 of them.
Yep.
And then we still got to go over and do all the same stuff tomorrow.
Yep. Yeah. Yep. And if it is about spiritual development, if it is about, you're trying to learn this, or you're trying to heal this, or whatever it is, even talking about it, sometimes your journey is so personal that nobody else is really going to understand what you're going
Mm-hmm.
through. So, like you said, journaling, or like for me, I hate to write. I'm more of a verbal processor. So, like, I'll get in the car or I'll get in the shower and I'm just talking out loud to whoever's listening. And I'm just like, same thing I'd write in a journal, but I'm just speaking it, just to get it out.
Yeah, I do the same thing too.
Mhm.
I talk out loud. It's just easier for me.
Yep.
Because I can't write as fast as
Yeah.
my brain processes the words out of my mouth. So
Yep.
it's just easier because I'm never going to read my journal again.
Right.
So
Yep.
I just need to get it out of my system. Or if I'm mad at somebody, I'll cuss them out and have a whole conversation with them, and then I'm fine.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, and spirit too. It's
Yep.
fine.
Yeah. Willie said, with the journal, do you feel that it's okay to be judgmental of self and others?
I feel like you need to be. I mean, it's your journal, so it's your opinion. But if we're being judgmental with yourself and others, we there's some questions there that have to be asked then. Like, in what context? Why are you talking about yourself? Like, why are we? I think that's what I'm more caught up in. Why are we being judgmental about yourself?
Yeah.
I mean, you can talk about other people if you want, and I won't judge you for judging other people, but I'll judge you for, like, why are we judging you?
Yeah. And I think it's about the balance. It's acknowledge those human emotions. Judgment is very much of a human emotion.
Mm-hmm.
Acknowledge it, but don't allow yourself to get like sucked into that.
Sorry.
I love that you can hear your fiance like trying to wrangle them all, like shh, and they're like,
He always makes an appearance on the lives.
you gotta love it. I mean, I get it. Like I'm surprised at times you guys can't hear, and I'm sure sometimes you can. Like my little, especially my youngest, just running around downstairs screaming at the top of his lungs, and I'm like,
They're doing cartwheels.
living their best life. Again,
Yeah.
perfect example. It's all about balance. Like, kids. What do you do? Yeah.
Uh,
So Ward said 3D is a height in width and depth in the sounds of feelings is an image of proposing is a volume of the image. Okay. I don't quite understand what you said, but I feel like if we're talking about like 3D, like third dimensional existence, like the human existence, is that what we're talking about?
no clue.
um
She said thanks for trying to wrangle them up.
It's like trying to wrangle kittens.
Boundaries against for yourself. Judging yourself. So you're judging yourself for
Oh, for doing things that you set boundaries against for yourself. To me, I think that's more about self-compassion.
Yeah.
Understanding that it's not about perfectionism. It's just about acknowledging like, okay, I crossed a boundary, or I didn't hold firm in the boundary I set for somebody else. I let them cross my boundary, and showing yourself that compassion to say, okay, I learned from this experience. So now next time I can do better. So I don't think it's really about, I don't think it's necessary to judge yourself. I think it's acknowledge it, learn from it, but show yourself compassion. Let me see. Yeah, I love this. So if you guys have questions pertaining to spiritual burnout or anything about Brie, like feel free, or what she does, maybe not about Brie, but like about Reiki or anything like that, like feel free to put anything in the comments and we can answer some questions. But
Sorry, they went to bed, guys. Sorry.
it's fine.
They went to bed.
It's fine. Your kids are still young. Like,
I have two 6-year-olds.
yeah, like they don't get it. Now,
And a husband who's had a couple of Miller Lights, so he doesn't get it either.
just tell them all, like, it's bedtime for all of you.
Sorry, guys.
Yeah, it's fine. Life happens.
All right. So, yeah, if you guys have any questions, we can do, now that it's a little quieter, we can do a Q&A, or we can still talk about spiritual burnout. What do you guys want to do?
Yep. Yeah. So, I mean, if there's anything that you wanted to talk about that like we haven't touched base on yet, like I'm just here.
You're just
So
here?
yep. So talk away.
Oh, yeah. Deep breath is definitely like, oh, I do. And Willie, I love these kids. They drive me crazy, but I love them.
Yep.
When the house is quiet, I miss them, but when they're here, I want them to go away.
I know.
Is this the mom guilt?
Yeah, it's like during the day, you're like, please just go to bed. And then they go to bed and you're like, I miss you.
Please
Wake up.
Yeah, deep breath is definitely like, I think my first line when I can see somebody like stressed out or burnt out or in this like fight or flight mode, the first thing out of my mouth is breathe.
Yeah.
That's like the cure-all for everything, is to just breathe.
Mm-hmm.
Because taking a deep breath triggers your entire body to just stop. And it just the breathe is just the way that it is.
Yeah. Yeah. And I know, like, even just speaking from personal experience, and I know other people who do this too, when I'm really stressed out, I will literally forget to breathe and I don't realize it until I'm just sitting there and all of a sudden and I'm like, when is the last time I took a breath? Like, and that's the moment I usually realize, oh, Ashley, you're stressed out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it's become one of my like my go-to responses when I get upset.
Mm-hmm.
Now I start counting my breaths.
Yes. Yep.
Because it's something that I know redirects my anxiety. It also is something that helps control my physical response to it helps keep me in control and grounded and focused and not lose myself too much.
Yeah.
And what's happening.
Yep. Yep. Sorry, my daughter, I don't know if you saw her. She's commenting. Almost done my room. Great. Thank you. Get off my live.
Our kids are killing me tonight.
Go clean your room.
Hello, everyone.
Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, see, like there's a couple people that are like, yeah, me too. Like I forget to breathe. Like, and I even tell my kids that, like when they're upset, like, okay, breathe, take deep breath, like, because you think about it, like we give our kids all these helpful tools, right? Let's breathe, let's count to 10, but then when it's us, all that goes right out the window, right? So it's like the same thing that we would tell a little kid, we need to tell ourselves, like, okay, sit down, let's take some breaths, let's maybe play with a squishy ball or something to like, give us something to mess with, like, and then we can reassess and we can figure it out.
Yep.
Yep. Yep.
Yep. All right. So let's see.
Yeah.
What are the comments? Let's see. Let's see what's going on.
See. Melissa had a question for you. She said, enlightenment, how did you come to know that this was your calling?
Oh, Lord.
It
It let me know.
does. It has a way of doing that.
It just kind of, I went through, I kind of, up until recently, I didn't realize that it was probably all divine timing. But about 2 years ago, I got COVID really bad,
Mm-hmm.
and it made me really sick, and it triggered several health issues for me. So one after the other, and it just seemed like every time I would get over something, something else would trigger, and it was just back to back to
Mm-hmm.
back to back. And um, one of the last episodes I had was a mental episode, and I ended up in the hospital, and they diagnosed me bipolar 2.
Mm-hmm.
And a couple of months later, I had surgery for my wrist, and I was out of work, and then all of a sudden I woke up one day and I was like a whole nother person.
Mm-hmm.
I had this mental upstairs. I had this I had this mental clarity. I had this energy.
Yep.
I had this drive, and it was literally overnight.
Mm-hmm.
And after about 8 weeks of it, they thought I was manic because I was bipolar 2. Um, and it turns out I was just in my awakening.
Mm-hmm.
But since then, it's just been little things just are happening. And it
Yep.
just chose me. I
Mhm.
knew
I love
that
that right
that's what it
there. It
was.
shows me. Yeah.
I knew what it was. It wasn't like I imagined it. I knew something was drawing me in. Like something got up my butt one day, and I went to a metaphysical festival, and I met a guy a Shwarmy, who ended up becoming a friend of mine. And I had a 45-minute conversation with him one day that changed the entire trajectory of my life. And here I am today.
Yep.
And it just took off. And I've never known something to be so right in my life.
Yep. And I think that's important right there, because my story is different but similar in the sense of, like, I legitimately thought I was going crazy. Like, I've always been intuitive, but when my gift was like, it's time, I thought I was going crazy. I was literally like laying in my apartment home alone in a fetal position with my hands over my ears, rocking back and forth because it sounded like there was a party going on in my house and I knew there was nobody there. And I was like, this is it. I'm going batshit crazy. Like, I need to check myself in somewhere. And I was in full blown panic mode. And I just remember like screaming at whoever, whatever. I didn't know what I was screaming at, but I was like, whatever I'm supposed to do, just tell me what to do. It just make this stop and I'll do it. And as soon as I said that, everything stopped. And the very next day, I found a business card on my closet floor of some psychic medium I had never heard of before. And I called her, and it was like everything just fell into place so easily. And I was like, okay, so I'm not as crazy as I thought, but it's like it just makes itself known. It goes, it's time. So for some people, I think, your stories are going to be similar to that in the sense of like, it's going to be something big. And for other
Mm-hmm.
people, you're just going to have these times where it's just this intuitiveness, just, everywhere I go, it seems like everyone's talking about Reiki, or everywhere I go, it seems like everyone's talking about inner child work. Like, it will surface, it will show itself. And if you're paying
Mm-hmm.
attention to it, you just follow those little stepping stones. And next thing you know, you look back and you're like, oh, I get it now. Like, now I
Mm-hmm.
get why I went through what I went through, and why like this has been showing up for me.
Mm-hmm.
But you don't
Yeah,
you don't get it in the moment.
yeah, it just, yeah, it doesn't just randomly happen. It's always been there. It just chooses when it surfaces for you.
Yeah. Yep.
And I realized looking back that my whole life I've always had this gift.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know that my whole life my ears would ring and I couldn't figure out why. And now, oh,
Mm-hmm.
that's why.
Yep.
Are you
Yep.
gonna come say hi? Are you gonna come say hi? All right, well then go to bed. Because I'm talking to people. All right, go to bed then. So it just kind of it chooses and it
Mm-hmm.
happens, and I'm blessed that it happened when it did.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't have been ready any other time. I
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't have been. I wouldn't have been able to handle it. I would have been immature about it. I wouldn't have known what to do. I wouldn't have had the resources
Yep.
to find the people to help guide me.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even realize he was back there.
I see his little head.
All right, go to bed. Go to bed. I'll be up in a minute. Go to bed. Here comes the other one. But now I'm in a place where I can find the resources, have the time. And I think it's also divine timing that I have the time, I have the people, I have the places,
Yep.
and I've been blessed.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And I'm able to give the gratitude for the blessings.
Mm-hmm. And I think a lot of that comes when you surrender, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
if you would have fought it, it would have been so much harder, right? But like you said,
Oh, life would have been chaos.
you woke up the next day and it was just like, okay, like something clicked. Like you still, like I'm assuming you still didn't have a full understanding of what was going on, but like it was okay. Like
I knew I was on the right path.
right.
I
Yeah.
knew that I was doing something that I needed to be doing.
Mm-hmm.
And I realized that whatever I was doing wasn't right,
Yeah.
which is why for so long life was crap.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Yeah.
I fought it for so long, because
Yeah.
I didn't surrender before. And
Mm-hmm.
now I surrendered and I was like, all right,
Yeah.
I give up.
Yeah. And, I see that a lot, so much with my clients and my following. And it's heartbreaking because I've been in that spot too, where you don't understand what the other side of something looks like. So you try to control it. You try to remain in a space that is familiar, not even necessarily comfortable, just familiar, because the other side is so unknown that's at the time seems scarier than staying
Mm-hmm.
in this familiar energy that just doesn't serve you. So I get it a ton with relationships, people's work, like those things come up all the time. And sometimes I feel like a broken record because spirit always gives a very similar message of, you have to move into
Yes.
the fear. Like you just have
Yes.
to. Otherwise, you're just going to keep coming back, keep coming back, keep coming back. Like you have to surrender and just take a deep breath and trust. Like you're not going to know how everything's going to work out, when it's going to work out, what all you're going to have to do to get to the other side. But you have to surrender. Otherwise, life is so much more difficult than what it needs to be.
Yes. I think that is like, I feel like that's the only message we give.
Over and over and over.
Because most messages that people are like, what should I do? Just say, I give up.
Mhm.
Trust that your spirits are not going to, they're not going to lead you to a dead end.
Yeah.
They're going to lead you to a path of success,
Mhm.
of abundance,
Mhm.
to luck, to wealth, to family, to
Yep.
everything that you write down on a piece of paper and say, I want this and it is mine. They're going to lead you down that path.
Yep. Yeah. And when you're struggling to figure out, like, do I stay here? Do I go down this path? And you're struggling with the surrender aspect to it. A good way to look at it is even once you surrender, it's not saying life is going to be easy. You're still going to have to work. But
Mm-hmm.
when you're surrendering and you're falling into alignment, you don't have to work quite as hard. Things just sort of naturally fall into your lap. And you're like, I thought that was going to be way harder. That's weird.
And you enjoy the work that you're doing.
Yes. Yes.
That's the key, is that people, like, I can sit like you and do this all day long.
Yep.
I'm exhausted.
Yep.
But I can literally sit and do this all day long because it brings joy to my heart to help people.
Yep.
I can stand in my studio and do Reiki all day long because it brings me joy. Like, when I know that I have helped somebody heal, that's all I needed. That's my purpose in life. That's what I'm supposed to do.
Yep.
And the only reason I charge people is because I got bills to pay.
Exactly.
If life was free, I would not charge.
Yes.
You know?
Energy exchange is important, and money is a form of energy.
Right. So when you find your path and purpose, it is so much easier to do it. And when it becomes easy, you know you are on the right path.
Yep.
And I don't think people understand that. If you're struggling, it's not the right one for you.
No, especially if it's like you keep hitting the same obstacle over and over. Spirit is literally like looking at you going, I don't know how much clearer I can be. And you're like, oh, nope, I don't see it. Like, guilty. I do it, like I do it. And then I have the realization of, Ashley, you're making this way more complicated than it needs to be. So like, even, a good example of this, because I know not everyone is interested in like a spiritual business. A good example of this too is, when we moved. So we moved from Texas last year to Pennsylvania, and we really kind of did it blindly. Same way that we did when we moved to Texas. It was more of, okay, I don't know how long it's going to take us to sell our house, but I feel like this is the right move for us. Our house sold before it even hit the market. When we were looking for houses, we put an offer on this house without looking at it because it just felt right. And this house wasn't even on the market yet. And it just clicked. And it was just because we surrendered to the process of like, I don't know where we're going or why we're going, but it feels right. So let's do it. So whatever it is that you guys are like trying to do, whether it is about your spirituality, whether it is about jobs, whether it is about relationships, or just a goal that you have in life, like let go. Let go and just see what falls into your lap.
Yeah. There shouldn't be a struggle.
No. I mean,
when it's the right one.
Like you still have to work at it. Like you said, like, you still had to go out and find an office space, and like, you still have to sit down and work every day. And that's tiring, but
I love it though.
Yeah. It's not like you're having to force yourself to do it.
No, I love it. I love it. I love it.
Sometimes I love my work so much. Like right now, I love my work so much that I've overbooked myself, and I'm like, and hence the spiritual burnout. And I'm like, okay, got to backtrack a little bit, got to create that balance again. Because when you're in the zone of something you love so much, it's easy to think that you can handle so much more than you can actually handle.
Because you want to.
Because you want to. And you like
because
it.
Because you want to push yourself, and you're like, well,
yep.
Yeah, I can do that. I guess I can squeeze in.
Yep. And then you're sitting there one day going,
oh no, I can't do it.
Like some days I'm like, I don't even want to put pants on today. And I'm like, Ashley, you got to put pants on. It's just one foot at a time, like one leg, then the other leg. You can do it. And it's about the balance. So in the comments, let us know, like, what sort of spiritual burnout, or maybe even physical burnout or mental burnout or anything at all. Like, what have you experienced burnout? Are you currently experiencing it? Ashley, your drinking glass matches my set. Thanks. It says Joe's Crab Shack on it. I
love Joe's.
Stole it from Joe's Crab Shack.
I love Joe's.
I love mason glasses are my favorite thing.
All right. Well, that's interesting. Well, we're having a killer night, huh?
Yeah.
Unless we're burnt out and can't breathe.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. I don't know.
Well,
I don't know how to respond to that.
so I am for this month. I am offering bundles for Reiki sessions.
Mm-hmm.
So, um, uh, because it's the harvest, so we gather.
Yep.
So I'm gathering and bundling Reiki sessions
I love
together.
that. I love that.
um, what did Jody say? Hyper self-awareness is intrusive, and I'm wanting to just be in my own moment, my own
Mhm.
body, my own mind. Yeah, I think that's exactly what you need. Hyper self-awareness. That,
Mhm.
yeah, you definitely need to be in your own body, and you definitely need to just breathe. Um, Definitely practicing Jody's and breathing exercises, and there's tons. One of the
Mhm.
things, yeah, I can't even imagine being hyper aware, but I think one thing that we forget as humans, the only thing that we can control between our body and our brain is our breathing.
Mhm.
And so to control your breath, you actually can trigger to control your body. So just breathing really fast and then breathing really slow and then breathing really fast and then breathing really slow. You'll actually trigger your hormones in your body to calm yourself down.
Mhm.
Jody, I think that's what you need to do.
And I don't know. I don't know if this is just something I do or if this is something people do. Honestly, I have no idea. I've just always done it. So like if I'm feeling anxious and I feel like that knot in my chest, or sometimes I'll feel it in my gut, I do those breathing exercises, but I imagine like because I'm very visual. So I'll imagine like my breath going to that spot where I feel that knot or I feel that tension. And I'm just like breathing air into it to try and like just release it, and it helps me to focus on that stress without overthinking it. Like I'm more so just acknowledging it, I'm breathing through it, and I'm trying to release it.
Uh, People might do that.
Yeah,
I wouldn't. I
yeah,
wouldn't say you're weird for that. That's a good thing.
I would say you're weird. Like I don't know if anyone, like, I've never actually like asked anyone if they do that. I've just done it since I was little, and it's like an intuitive thing, and I'm just like, it's always worked. So it's a good way for me to, because when we stress out, like we immediately tend to go into like, I gotta release the stress. What do I gotta do? How do I fix this? Right? We go into like panic mode, trying to control it. And so for me, it's more of like I acknowledge where in my body I feel that stress, and I'm just focusing on the breath because it's the only thing I'm in control of. So I'm
Yeah.
acknowledging it, but then I'm also trying to release it without trying to control it or even necessarily
Yeah.
understand it. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Patty, yeah, total burnout, but can't quit, non-option. You don't have to quit.
you don't have to quit. You just have to breathe and you need to rest.
Yep. And we have work. Like let's be honest, we can't all just like, oh, I'm walking away from work and I'm gonna give myself like a week's vacation. Some of us, great, we can. Some of us we can't. And so I think, remembering to breathe and just prioritizing even if it's 30 minutes to an hour a day to where you just allow yourself to shut down. That's it.
Yeah. And sometimes just sitting in silence and listening to yourself, listening to your breath and and being aware of your breath because that forces your attention to go somewhere.
Hmm.
Um, and it forces your attention to focus and it forces your body, again, your body and your mind to be in sync will help a lot. And you don't have to quit.
Hmm.
Um, Analysis paralysis. I like that.
Hmm.
Um, you don't have to quit. It's just about the prioritize, and you have to be number one in that the priorities list.
Hmm.
Um, because you can't get it all done if you're laying flat on the ground, passed out.
Right.
It's, prioritize yourself and then make time to rest. Remember to get your breathing in there
Hmm.
and, express that you are burnt out and then take your time. Give yourself some extra time in between those tasks.
Yeah.
You don't have to quit, but you do need to put time, rest on that list
Yes. Yeah.
of,
And
of tasks to get done.
yeah. And I think, as humans, I think we make everything way more complicated than it needs to. So like I see
Hmm.
this in my mentorships with like people who are trying to develop. I'm like, it's not nearly as complicated as you're making it sound. You're just in your own head about it. And I think it's the same thing when we try to create balance. We make it way more complicated. It can just be 5 minutes, 3 times a day where we're just like,
Hmm.
we're just even if you have to hide in the bathroom and do it, I don't care where you do it. Just to be present. Those 15 minutes stretched out throughout the whole day will have far more of an impact than not doing anything at all and just continuing to try to force yourself to be productive.
Yeah. Yeah, Patty, I wake up every morning at 4 a.m.
Yeah.
and meditate.
That's like when I'm waking up to do like my pee and then like get back in bed. I'm not a morning person.
It's because that's when my house is silent. And I have to it religiously because that's what starts my day off for success. That's where I get my grounding. That's where I get my
Mhm.
focus. That's where I can connect with my spirits. That's where I can connect with my archangels. That's where my energy builds. That's my recharge. If I don't get that meditation in the morning, call
Yep.
it quits, put me back in bed. I'm done. So finding that time in the morning to start your day, finding that 5 minutes throughout the day to kind of recharge yourself is super
Mhm.
important. Um, yeah, absolutely grounding. Um, when I have trouble breathing, I turn to spirit and my body go on.
Yeah. Yeah, for
Yeah,
some.
absolutely.
Yep. Yeah,
Yeah, absolutely.
the
Turning
Bible
to
is a great tool or, anything that you feel, I think, spiritually connected to is a great tool.
Yeah, turning to anything that can help you calm down. If you've got something tangible, if you've got a picture, if you've
Mhm.
got, a rose, and I just happen to have one sitting on my table, whatever you need, whatever you have, whatever is going to help you snap out of that moment and kind of bring you back down, bring you back into this present second and get you out of that is whatever you need. Like if that's what you need, that's what it is.
Yeah.
There's no
Yeah.
judgment. It can be, a block of cheese.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yep. Yep. I have this very weird thing that I do, and again, I've just always done it. When I feel the need to kind of bring myself into my center, I'll literally go outside and I don't just like sit in the grass. I will pick something and I'll make a pile of it. It's so weird. I don't know why I do it, but it works. Like sometimes it'll be a stick. Sometimes it'll be like certain colored leaves. Sometimes it's just like picking like the clovers, that I find like mixed into my grass. And I put it all in this weird pile and I just do it for like 5 minutes. And I'm like, okay, I feel good. Like I'm ready to get back to it.
Were you like a fairy in your past life or something?
I think so. I was on the phone with my friend the other day and I was outside doing that while I was on the phone with her. And I joked around. I was like, I swear, if anyone visited my yard, they would think like fairies live here. And she was like, well, it's because you're part fairy. And I was like, oh, that makes sense because I am the one making all of the piles.
Have you ever had your past lives done before?
I have. I have never had one come up about a fairy, but I've always been really drawn to the fairy existence and all of that.
That's
So
so funny.
yeah, I'm always
It
making like
wouldn't
little
sur-
piles, mushrooms, I'm collecting them and like making little like mushroom piles, all kinds of
it
stuff.
wouldn't surprise me.
So, yeah, Patrick said like music, right. So whatever works for you, whatever, like do your thing, but doing something, even if it's just 5 minutes, will have such a huge impact on a
Yeah,
long-term effect.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it's already
Oh,
past 8 o'clock. I'm just over here like do, 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 do.
yeah, lollygagging, that's what we do.
Yeah. I love it. So Brie, is there anything that because I know it got a little hectic for a minute. So is there anything that like we skipped over that you wanted to talk about, either about burnout or about your business, or is there anything that or anything you wanted to do or whatever that we haven't gotten to?
No, I just want to, for October, I think I'm going to run it for the end of the year. So for the next 3 months, I'm going to run bundles, so Reiki bundles. So the more you buy, the less expensive they'll get, and I can customize. If you want to add an oracle or a tarot reading to them, we'll discount those as well.
Awesome.
Um, if you're local to Maryland, I have a 2-day event this weekend in Brunswick, Maryland, which should be great. Railroad days. We're going to set up. I'm selling some crystals, doing some readings and Reiki. What else? All my information is in the link. So click
Mhm.
on me, give me a follow, and stop and say hi.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I definitely think if you guys have been hanging out with us, then clearly you like us. So make sure that you go and you follow Brie. Brie does a lot of videos. Like I'm always seeing like your TikToks pop up. I see them on both Facebook and I see them on TikTok. So she's always doing videos. So I would definitely go make sure that you guys follow her and check out her services. I don't specialize in Reiki, but Brie is wonderful. So yeah, I was just reading some of these comments. Brie is wonderful. So go follow her. Like I said, send her a message if you guys have questions. But depending on where you're watching, if you're watching on YouTube or Facebook, in the description of the video, whether it's up there or down there, all of her information is linked. So, all right. Very good. I love going live with you. It's always so like relaxed and I feel like the conversation just flows very naturally.
I try, and then yay, go Phillies, because Phillies are go Phillies.
So, all right. Well, thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. Hopefully you had some tips that are helpful. Yes, thank you guys for being here, Patty and Tiffany. I love it. So we will
Thank you,
be live.
thank you.
We will be live again together next month. And just make sure you guys give Brie a follow. And I guess we will see you all next time.
Yay, thank you. Thanks for
Thank you
joining
guys.
us.
Have a great night.